Welcome everyone to this guided mindfulness and compassion meditation session. We're going to go through stages of mindfulness practice, of grounding and getting settled, and then what's called close placement, in which we hold our minds, we give it an object of attention that's very close to us. In this case, it'll be the internal sensation of filling and emptying as we breathe. Then we'll move to environmental mindfulness or awareness of perceptions. And then we'll do a few minutes of a meditation on compassion for ourselves and for others, which people have found very, very helpful. Now, to begin the practice, what we want to do is have an upright posture. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is, with a good upright posture, the breathing flows more easily. Also, if your head is tilted down and you're curled over, you tend to get sleepy or drowsy. If your chin is up in the air, you tend to get spacey and spaced out. And the other part of a good posture is we feel our own posture. So we feel when we're slumping, and we feel when we're upright and dignified. So the metaphor is to sit on your chair or meditation cushion like a king or queen on a throne. Now, what's helpful is, I'll go through different aspects of that. To keep your chin from tilting, your head tilting down or your chin tilting up, feel the spot right behind your ears and feel like that's going diagonally up and backward. And if you do that, the chin comes in naturally. I'll show you. Most of us sit kind of like this, but if you feel this going up and back, you get that posture. I'm not intentionally pulling my chin in, it just naturally comes in that way. So we have that. And then let your arms just hang to your sides, leave the elbows where they are, and then you can put your hands palm down on each leg, just behind your knee on the corresponding leg, or you can cross your palms in your lap. I'll stand up a little bit. It'll look like that, with your thumbs just barely touching, and your arms kind of making a little circle that way. That's up to you. Your feet are either flat on the floor, hip width apart, or, excuse me, or if your knees are above the height of your hips, that can put a little strain on your lower back or your hips. And so you can just cross them gently in front of you. And that'll take some of the pressure off of your legs and back. Shoulders are just in a neutral position, not curled forward or pulled back. We're going to start the practice with our eyes closed, and then at certain points I'll have you open them. And your lips, mainly we're breathing in and out through our nose. It's okay to breathe out a little bit through your mouth, but you want to have all of your inhalation coming in through your nose. And your lips are either just barely touching or slightly parted. And just feel your body, feel that way. And if you're not sure if you're centered, you can just tilt slightly to the left or right, forward or back a little bit, until you find that you're not left or right, you're not front or back. We can't really say what centered is. We just can only feel it as not left or right, not forward or back. Now let your eyes gently close. Be aware of your body. Notice what it feels like. Wiggle your toes. Flex your calves and your thighs. Kind of move around in your seat. Get really just shake it out a little bit and get settled and centered. Have that upright posture, erect but not stiff. Feel your hands, arms, shoulders, face, scalp. Now what we're going to do, now that we're kind of fully inhabiting our body, we're going to do a little body scan where you use your awareness to scan for unnecessary tension. There's a certain amount of tension you need to hold your posture. Beyond that, just let it go. Let it melt and flow down out of you. Let your awareness be like a broom that's sweeping it out of you. Let your breath ventilate it out of you. However, whatever image works for you, just start at the top of your head and notice any unnecessary tension in your scalp, your forehead, eyes, ears, cheekbones, the back of your neck, your jaw. That's where we have a little more tension than we realize. Just let it melt. Let it soften. All around your throat and your neck, tension there very often, especially where your neck and shoulders meet. We hold a lot of tension up there. Just let your shoulders drop. Collarbone and shoulder blades all around your shoulders, upper arms, chest and upper back. Let it all melt. Rib cage all around, lower back, stomach and deep belly. Sometimes we're clenching our deep belly more than we realize. Just without losing your posture, just let it soften. Hips, pelvis, thighs, forearms and hands, knees, calves, ankles, and feet. Take one big breath, and as you breathe out, just feel like you're sweeping away all of that unnecessary tension. Now, we usually think of our minds as being in our head, behind our forehead, but that's really just our imagination of where it is, because so much is going on around that area. Our eyes, ears, nose, mouth are all up there. Let your mind fall back to the back of your skull and let it drift down like a leaf slowly drifting to the bottom of a pond. Let your mind drift down the back of your throat, down behind your chest, behind your solar plexus, settling down past your navel, in the deep core of your torso, just in front of your spine. Let your mind rest there, deep in the core of your torso. As the breath goes in and out, you feel it moving gently down there, like the currents at the bottom of that pond. It's quiet down there. With each out breath, just feel like your whole body is sinking down, sinking into the seat, sinking past the seat and merging with the earth. Merging with the earth and becoming one with the earth, your upper body extending upward in your dignified posture like a mountain. Now be an observer of your breath, letting it come and go as it will. Longer or shorter, deeper or shallower, it doesn't matter. Just be an observer. Notice it coming and going like the wind. And let go of expectations in your mind. Let your mind be open like the sky. Body like a mountain, breath like the wind, mind like the sky. Be aware of your posture, and within that, feel the feeling as you breathe in of your torso filling as the air comes in, that internal sensation of filling, and then the internal sensation of emptying as the breath goes out. Filling, emptying, with the background awareness of your posture. And let your eyes just open part way so that you're looking down under the eyelids, just barely seeing more than a few feet in front of you and to the sides. Without looking at a particular object, it's as if you're looking at the space that you're sitting in. Aware of your body, aware of the space you're sitting in, aware of the internal sensations of filling and emptying. And if, while we're practicing this mindfulness of body and breath, if your mind wanders into a series of thoughts, just smile, have a sense of humor when you realize that you are off in a daydream, and think, wandering, that was wandering, now back to body and breathing. Very simple. With your body and breathing, when your mind wanders off into a daydream and you wake up from that, just smile and come back to body and breathing. And we'll do that for a few minutes. If you've gotten drowsy and lost your posture, just reinvigorate your posture and raise your gaze. Look more straight ahead. Notice the air coming in and out of your nostrils. Feel that. If you've gotten spaced out or just a torrent of thoughts, lower your gaze even more. Almost close your eyes and really focus on the deep, deep core of your torso. Feeling the breath there, moving as it comes in and goes out, expanding to fill, contracting to empty. And to sharpen focus, notice the phases of the breath. As you begin the inhalation, you're starting to fill. There's a process of filling, and then there's a moment when you're full. There's a tiny gap, and then starting to empty, emptying, and all the way empty. Tiny gap, starting to fill, filling and full. And just notice more detail of the experience of those phases. And we'll do that for a minute or so. Now raise your gaze, looking just above whatever device you have in front of you. Or if you're not looking at anything, just straight ahead, slightly below horizontal. Soften your gaze and open up your peripheral vision. So you see the full field of your vision above and below and to each side. Relax your hearing and open up your ears. It's as if you could open up your ears wider and listen for sounds all around and as far away in all directions as you can hear. Be aware of your body, what you're feeling. From outside on your skin, cool air coming in through your nostrils, warm air going out. That feeling of filling and emptying, and feel your body moving as the breath goes in and out. You might even feel your pulse. Open your nostrils and smell the smells in your room. Pleasant or unpleasant doesn't matter. Just notice the quality of the smells. If there are any tastes left over in your mouth from tea or coffee or lunch or breakfast, dinner if you're in Europe. And we also perceive our thoughts. We can be aware of our thoughts. Just watch for the next thought that appears. Watch, listen how thoughts arise in your mind. Stay for a moment, disappear, or seemingly morph into other thoughts. Be aware of your breathing and focus particularly on the out-breath going out. Let your mind ride your out-breath out, and as the out-breath dissolves into the atmosphere in the room, let your mind open up to the space in your room and beyond. Breathe out and open. Out and open. And let go of the focus on the breath and let your mind move among the sense perceptions. If a particular perception, a sight, a sound, a sensation takes your mind to it, draws your mind to it, just go there and rest with that sense perception. Explore everything in that sense field for a little bit. Then relax and let your mind move to another one. If a sound captures your attention, listen for sounds for a bit. If an itch or other sensation captures your attention, notice your physical sensations for a bit, and so on. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. Again, if your mind wanders into a daydream, just smile and come back to posture, out-breath, environment. Good. Now relax. What I thought we would do for before we do the compassion meditation, thought I'd give an opportunity if people had any questions about the practices we just did, which is the grounding practice, the close placement practice, or awareness of the internal sensation of filling and emptying, and the environmental awareness practice. So I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself. If you have any questions, or you can raise your hand, whatever you'd like. They have that function in the reactions section down below on your screen.
I had a question.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I was curious why we have our eyes closed at some stages and partially open and then, diagonally open at other points. I just wondered how that affects the meditation.
Thank you, Christy. That is a great question. Well, we do the grounding because to start with, we are going inward. We're closing off from distractions outside and really trying to get ourselves centered and settled, feeling that body scan, the internal sensation of our mind sinking down into and feeling like we're sinking into the cushion or the seat and merging with the earth. So that it's helpful to have less going on out there when we're trying to get internal. Now, then we open our eyes because we want to be aware of the space that we're sitting in. And we do this mindfulness practice with our eyes open because we want to be able to take this with us. And if we walk around with our eyes closed, we bump into things. So we practice being present with our eyes open, but minimizing the distraction by having our gaze lower. Traditionally, it says, look down the angle of your nose, right? So that would, if you were sitting in there, for example, on a cushion on the floor, and you look down that angle, it would take you out 4 to 6 feet, maybe at most. If you have less of a downward nose, maybe 8 feet, but 4 to 8 feet out in front of you. And then the instruction is to diffuse your vision in the sense of you leave your attention directed toward that point, but not grasping onto it with your eyes, just relaxing your eyes so that you see the space that you're in. Then we raise our gaze to almost horizontal. I didn't mean for it to be too diagonally downward, but almost horizontal, so that as the breath goes out, you're opening up into an awareness of your full peripheral vision. If your eyes are too far or diagonally too much downward, you don't see very far up above. But when you're looking almost straight ahead, if you open your eyes and soften your face muscles, you can see the ceiling, you can see your lap, you can see almost 180 degrees to each side. It's amazing how big your field of vision is. And then the instruction is to leave your eyes directed in one way, but allow your awareness to move. And you see that you can attune your awareness to different areas of your field of vision without moving your eyes.
Thank you.
So it gives you a more of an open space, encouraging the environmental awareness. Great question. Thank you. Any others? This is what we call waiting meditation. That if you can just sit without any expectation of when the question will come up. I want to emphasize one important thing, and that is that moment when you realize you were off in a daydream. Now, it can happen really fast that we go off, I think I may have done this example before, but you're sitting there and you take a couple of breaths and you go, oh, this is very relaxing. This reminds me of that yoga class I took. I really like that instructor. I wonder what happened to her. I think she moved to New York. I like New York. That play we saw there last year was, and in how long was that? 2 seconds? We're in New York watching people singing and dancing in the play. But that's not enough. Then we go, and that play, it was really good. The singing and dancing was great, but I could have written a better script than that. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do a screenplay. Yeah, I live in LA. I bet I can do it. And all of a sudden you're writing a rom-com in your mind, and it goes on for a while, and then something pops it. Now it always pops. The reason it always pops is otherwise we would go off into a daydream and never come back. The reason it pops is that our default mode is actually being present. We think that our default mode is being off in distraction, and we have to find a way to get back to the present. Not true. Default mode is the present. And these daydreams are like a big slice of Swiss cheese put on top of the present. And now we're walking on the Swiss cheese, on that layer of Swiss cheese, and have lost touch with the present. But it's full of holes. So every now and again, we're tootling along, this thought, this thought, this thought, this thought, whoop, we drop down. Oh, that was daydream. You're already back. The moment you realize it, you're already back. And being already back, you don't have to wake yourself up. Like when you wake up in the morning and you realize, oh, I was dreaming, now I'm not. You don't have to say, so I should wake up. You think, okay, so where am I? What do I need to turn off the alarm clock now. So in the same way, when we drop down out of that daydream, we go, oh, you're already back. At that moment, you remember what your intention was, which is posture, awareness of filling and emptying, or posture, out-breath, and environment. Whatever the object of attention was, that's what you come back to, because you're already back in the present. So that's a really, really important distinction. And to not beat yourself up. It needs to be non-judgmental mindfulness, non-judgmental awareness. So that's why I said, when you realize you daydream, smile about it. Go, good one. Okay. and then now back to the breathing. Okay. All right. So let us continue on. And this is the compassion practice. Now, the compassion practice is based on a sense of connection, a connection with others, and interdependence. Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Zen teacher from Vietnam, called it interbeing. He calls it interbeing. And that is that we are not so separate from everything else. So to begin this practice, it's really important to have a moment of letting go of that me-ness. Not meanness, but me-ness. And letting go of that and just opening up your awareness to the whole universe. Just go out, 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 further and further and further, and that you're everything and nothing at the same time. That sensation. And that's the basis for doing the practice, that there's not so much me-ness involved, but an energy and a process that's interconnected with every other energy and process in the universe. So to start, let's take our good posture. And this practice, it involves a visualization of a crystal or a ball of light in your heart center, which is the center of your chest at heart level. So again, in this situation, because we're visualizing it, it's not a formless meditation practice, whatever is more comfortable for you, eyes open or closed, is really up to you. But to start with, you can have your eyes open, looking out even above the horizon. And just take a breath in, and as the breath goes out, let your mind open up. Let go of this, let go of me, and connect with the universe, the infinite openness. Further out, further out, further out. Relax in that infinite openness. And now, either close your eyes or leave them open, but imagine in the center of your chest at heart level, a beautiful clear crystal made of light, or just a ball of light, any color that you want. White is something that includes all colors, or clear crystal, whatever you imagine. And this crystal, this ball of light, has amazing transformative powers. Anything negative that is gathered into it is instantly transformed into an opposite positive energy. When fear is gathered into it, courage, it's transformed into courage. When anger is drawn into it, it's transformed into peace and patience. When hatred is drawn into it, it's transformed into acceptance and love. And we're going to use the breath to gather things in to that crystal, to that light. Explore your being, your state of mind, your physical being. Any negativity you're feeling toward yourself. Any negative emotions of anger, self-hatred, blame, guilt. Any physical ailments. Any sadness, fear, unhappiness. From everywhere in your being, as you breathe in, gather them all into the crystal, into the light in your heart center. They transform and radiate out. That crystal radiates out the cool moonlight of kindness that fills your being with those positive opposite qualities. Breathe in and gather in fear. Breathe out and fill yourself with courage. Breathe in guilt. Radiate out and fill yourself with forgiveness. Illness. Breathe in, breathe out healthiness. Now, if you need 2 or 3 breaths to gather everything in that you want, take the 2 or 3 breaths, and then take 2 or 3 breaths to radiate out that cool moonlight of kindness and all those positive qualities that fill you. Now you can, again, either have your eyes open or closed, but now imagine in front of you your loved ones, friends and family. And that as you breathe in, you gather all of their negativity into the crystal in your heart center, it instantly transforms. And as you breathe out, it radiates out from your whole being, as if coming out of all your pores, this cool moonlight of kindness. And that cool moonlight of kindness fills all of their beings and replaces their suffering, struggle, unhappiness, and unhealthiness with health, happiness, peace, and kindness. Breathe in pain from them, it transforms, radiate out relief to them. Breathe in struggle, radiate out relaxation. There's no me here that you're gathering these into. They're gathered into this crystal made of light in your heart center. That's just the nature of goodness that transforms all the negativity into positive energy. You gather it in, gather the negative in, it transforms and radiate out that positive energy. And as best you can, imagine that you extend that out beyond your close circle of family and friends to as many beings as you can include, even those you have difficulty with. Gather in, as you breathe in, all of the pain and suffering and negativity. If you can, imagine all of it in the whole world into that crystal in your heart center. There's no limit. It instantly transforms and radiates out, filling the entire world with freedom from struggle, with peace, happiness, and healthiness. There's no limit to what that nature of goodness can do. And now let go of the visualization and come back to that close placement of awareness of your body and your breathing, just for 3 or 4 breaths. Good. And we can extend a little past the 45-minute closing time. We'll go on for a little bit longer. If you have any questions, I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself. Just please chime in.
I have one quick question.
Hi, Christy.
Hi, I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to try to just only ask a few. But I'm watching your last meditation that you did a couple weeks ago, and you used a gong. And I just wondered, how does that work? Like, what does that do?
You know, I realized that, and I didn't have it in reach, but I'm going to show you my gong. Okay. There we go. Okay. So here's the sound. Right?
Right.
Now, one of the things about the sound, the interesting thing with the gong is you hear a sound, and then as the sound dissipates and kind of mixes with the environment, because the sound waves are going out, right?
Right.
They start here, but they go out,
Right.
out, out. And as they go out, it's like your mind relaxes and opens out.
Mm.
Now, the interesting thing it's also a traditional signal for starting and ending.
Mm.
And the interesting thing about as the session goes on and people get a little impatient, if their mind gets a little antsy, they just can't wait for that gong to ring at the end of the session. And when they hear it, they go, oh. And then they're not thinking of anything. They're just being and relaxing. So my teacher said, the best meditation happens right after the gong.
Mm.
Now, my gong, I moved out of my home and haven't unpacked everything. So the Tibetan style gong that I have is still packed up. So there's my gong.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Bad, not bad, right?
Oh, it's a nice transition.
So you have to find just the right instrument. We can adapt and make do. Now, the other thing that we do at we often recite an aspiration connected with this compassion practice. And it's called the Four Immeasurables. It's immeasurable thoughts of goodwill. May I and all beings, may all of us, and we can word it anyway, it's a translation of an original Pali or Sanskrit ancient Indian language. So may I and all of us have happiness and the causes of happiness. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all have a deeper joy beyond conventional happiness and suffering. And may we all have a profound equanimity free from attachment, aversion, and ignorance. So those are good aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
We also, at the end of a practice session, want to share whatever benefit we have with others. That's the interbeing, the interconnection that we have with everyone. And if we have that interconnection with everyone, if we have that interconnection, it's much more powerful if we share that inspiration and the benefit that we got from the practice and say, I did this not just for myself, but to help me be able to benefit others more. So we say, and we can all recite this together. I'll leave space for you to recite after me. May the practice I have just done be of benefit to others as well as myself. And as I like to say, if you're feeling particularly generous or want to cultivate generosity, you can say, may the practice I have just done be of even more benefit to others than to myself. So that's the close of our mindfulness and compassion meditation practice. Thank you.